Welcome to KHUR Radio, home of the Fleet DJs. I'm your host, Heavy Hustles, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dino For Real. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's good with you, man? How you doing tonight, bro?
Oh, man, very excited tonight. Got a great show lined up. Got a great group of guys that we're going to talk to. Ready to get into this thing, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm geeked about it. Today's show is sponsored by T-Mobile, the Un-carrier, the leader in nationwide 5G, and Beckett Master North out of Houston, Texas, where every customer is treated like family. Also, it is sponsored by the Next MC The Blow Show, ENT, LLC, and MEMG Music Group, the major indie label. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms at KHUR Radio. Catch our stream 24/7 at www.khurradio.com. We'll be right back after this short break, and we're finna get into it with some legends for y'all, all right?
Yep.
It's KHUR, The Vault, the cure for urban music.
My station. Hit it!
Our guest tonight, 3TOB, the original band of the group, formerly known as Toni. We have Amar Khalil, Antron Ice Cream Hale, John Jubu Smith, and last but not least, the Mr. Elijah Javon Bourgeois Baker.
Yes, sir.
Did I get them names right, man?
AKA Sugar.
Did I get them names right?
That's what you call it.
Already, man.
Yes, sir. How y'all fellas doing tonight, man?
Wonderful, man. No complaints. God is good, man.
Thank you for being with us tonight. I was a little hesitant, a little on the fence about calling you guys formerly known as Toni, but after watching the documentary a couple times and doing a little research, I think I'd have done you an injustice by not saying that. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, that is our truth. We are former members of Toni, and we've been former members of Toni just as long as we've been anything else. So it would be an injustice.
Right. Well, I'm glad I didn't do that injustice, because I almost talked myself out of not saying that, because I know you guys are trying to create a new identity for yourself. And speaking on which, who is 3TOB, and, what makes you guys different than the average band?
Well, we've been original the whole time, and what makes us different, we got the formula and the chemistry for over 30 years. So I can't say too many bands have that experience and that cohesiveness and chemistry.
My question is actually for Elijah too, because first of all, I didn't know it was more than 3 people in Toni. That's
part.
Just, you know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. I had no idea, and I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? And then looking at the bio and thinking about some of the things that I read, especially with you, Mr. Elijah, as a producer, I did not know you had all these credentials as a producer with, all these people that you work with, and, the melodies and the bass lines. What is your secret sauce?
Man, we got it from our daddies, man. We grew up in the church playing quartet. Trine grew up in the church playing Church God in Christ, and we just been playing all our life, man. It's just musically inclined, and it was in our soul, man. And Jubu's a junior, I'm a junior, and man, we just got it from our daddies, man.
Yeah. Hey, well, he passed on some hell of a genes, man.
Right. We're going to go back a little bit, all right? The documentary that y'all put out, all right? I took away from it, we young guys, signed a bad contract maybe, and it's years later as everybody done grew up, why not make this thing right? So the question is out there, have anything ever transpired? Have y'all come to the table and made this even a little bit right, an apology or something? Because y'all are family. That's what really got me, that y'all really family when this happened.
I've been trying. I've been mainly the one who's been trying, for a long time. Jubu always been down, Antron always been down. Carl was kind of like, he don't believe that they ever gonna do right. and Amar was with the group longer than all of us, 20 years consistently, but they weren't treating him fairly either. But I tried to get the group back together, especially when I got out of jail in 2012, because I'm like, y'all ain't did nothing like bigger than what we did when we was all together. Like, y'all solo careers is lackluster, you know, and together we can make more money together than y'all making individually, than I'm making individually. We can make more money now than we made then. So let us split this equally. Y'all already got paid.
Right.
Split this equally, and man, let all bygones be bygones. So there sometimes Raphael was with it, then he'd pull out. Dwayne with it, he'd pull out. Tim, he was just whatever for real. But and as the years kept going, it became like 8 years later, and I turned 50 years old. I'm like, hey man, we gotta do something. So I said, let's tell our story. So I want to shine a light on the number one question, why Toni broke up, because they couldn't speak on it because they'd step on each other's toes. Also, to shed light on Antron, Jubu, Amar, Carl, and myself, because we were more intricate than anybody ever known. So, and right now we about 50,000 from 1 million views, man, later.
Well, we're going to try to push that and help that drive, man, because y'all do have an interesting story. I got a question for Amar. So if I understand it correctly, when you came into the group, the songs and stuff were already written, or did you help write some of the songs that became hits?
No, basically, you know, everything was already written, but I did, you know, do some studio session work, background vocals on some songs, and things of that nature as cats were writing and creating and things of that nature. Yeah.
Okay. And you knew all the songs, and you just fit in. That's like the OJ glove, huh? I mean, but you fit.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, just like the OJ glove.
But you fit.
But OJ glove didn't fit.
Yeah, but you fit though. That's.
But I fit. So you know, it was. We all basically grew up, as we said in the documentary. We all grew up together. Like Raphael and I have been friends since we were knee high to frogs, man. Elementary school, junior high, high school, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at each other's house. So I was always there in the very beginning. And Elijah, myself, his brother Kenya, Raphael, and all that. We had a band as youngsters growing up before Tony's were even thought of or existed. So I've always been around, and we've always been in each other's lives. So it was kind of like just a natural progression, because I'd always been there, I always sung, and even when we had our band, I was the lead singer and Raphael was the bass player and stuff. So yeah, man, I was just there. So I knew everything. I knew all about the group, all about each member. And it was kind of like just a family thing. When one person stepped out, somebody else stepped in.
Right.
Excuse me. And I would like to say that also too, that really Amar, Raphael, growing up, looked up to him because it goes back to like the GQ crew and everything else. So yes, it's really deep. It's really family. Like all of us was really tight. Like, and the way it went, it shouldn't have went that way.
Right. In the documentary, Antron, I seen where you discovered that they had that it was a point system that you didn't know nothing about. I mean, once that can of worms was open to you, I mean, really, how did you feel? I mean,
I felt really bad. I didn't feel like bad, like I wasn't sad, but I was like more so they wasn't telling us the whole truth. And then at that point, once I discovered that they wasn't telling us the whole truth, that's when I went to Elijah and Carl to let them know that, hey, it's a whole nother side of this game that they're not telling us. And at that point, it's when things started getting real shady, like real shady. And it was crazy because at that point also too, the group was blowing up. And that's how come everybody, just like you said, you only thought it was 3. But if you look at the first videos, you only see 6.
Mm-hmm.
You only see 6 throughout all the first videos. From the first album on until they had the heart enough themselves to feel like they were stars enough themselves to say, we're Toni. And that's the hard part, because the way they have portrayed it to us was that that's the name. Just like if you have a name like Duran Duran, but it's a band, or U2, that's the band.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it came across to us, and that's the way they portrayed it to us. So
now, Antron,
yes.
wasn't the first video with just the 3 of them in it was It Never Rains in Southern California? No,
Yes.
I mean Anniversary. Or was it Anniversary? Because you got
no.
Southern California. Southern California.
It was It Never Rains. It was It Never Rains. It was after the Star stuff and everything. The group started blowing up.
Wow.
The third single on the second
Go
album.
ahead, dog.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the shady stuff that you guys that you were talking about, Antron and Jubu, did that start to occur after money started being made, or did that occur prior to money started to be generated?
The shady stuff started once the guys started asking questions, because you got to remember, I was the 7th member that came after the second album. I came in on the remixes of the second album, so I was never under contract, but I was around and saw the contract that Carl Wheeler signed when he released himself out of his contract. I was there, and I asked him personally. I said, "Bro, why don't you get a lawyer to look at that? Because, you should just do that." He's like, "Nah, man, we brothers, man. I trust these fools." And I remember that statement forever, man. I trust these fools. And you know what, to be honest, I probably would have done it too, because we did have a trust level in them. But after they started asking questions, and then when they started getting houses, when they bought their first homes, and the other 3 guys hadn't seen any money yet, nothing. And then so Elijah was always the one at the forefront. I mean, Raphael even calls him Jimmy Hoffa. So he said Elijah always gathering up the troops and messing up a good thing, But Elijah was always the one that, when he felt something wasn't right, we had to address it, And so Elijah's thing was, man, y'all getting houses and cars, man. Where's ours at, And then all of a sudden, we started working on the 3rd album, and then they get this paperwork saying, sign this paper and you get a $10,000 advance, and they were really signing away their rights to be in that band. So it was not only, man, they were they were tricked by their family, man. Like, I mean,
So my question,
I don't know how you get back together after that. I just don't know.
Right.
Would ever get back.
And see, that's my question, because me and Heavy kind of been talking about this, to a certain degree. I grew up in the music industry. My great uncle was Antoine Fats Domino, so I kind of know a little bit about the game.
Oh wow!
But my question is, so the structure of the first contract where only 3 people were getting money and the other 3 were not getting money, does anybody know, or has anybody found out what was in that contract, the reason why only 3 people out of 6 was getting money?
I would love to answer that question.
Yes, sir.
I would too.
We found out in 2019 of the contract when we did the documentary, and our ex-manager told us about the $6 million. So immediately I went to go check on it and see what's going on. All we remember in 1989 was signed here, and we knew that was we thought it was a recording contract, but the only paperwork they gave us when they got rid of us was a Toné incorporation paper. They never gave me a Tron. They never gave me a Tron to record an artist contract in a public contract. So when they fired us and we went to go seek some help, everybody said, "What is this? We can't do nothing with this." So at that point, me and Antron didn't know that we ever signed or recorded our. We just thought we did.
Wow.
So at that moment, we thought they had the power. So we just kind of just said, "Okay, they can do that."